Okay, so you want to start out by applying some of your blue stained glass paint to your first glass jar. I want you to keep in mind that you may need multiple coats of paint. So what I'm doing here is I'm applying my first layer of paint. Then I will be using a heating tool to dry that first layer of paint. Then after that, I will apply my second coat of paint. Okay, so for my second jar, I decided to use my white stained glass paint. Um, if you want the white to stand out a little more on your glass jar, you can add in a white acrylic paint mixed in with your stained glass paint, or you can use Mod Podge in place of the gallery glass paint. You can use Mod Podge and white acrylic paint, mix those two together and apply that to your jar. So what I'm doing here is I'm just applying a thin layer of the stained glass white paint to my smaller glass jar. After doing this, I will just repeat the steps. I will use my heating tool and dry that, and then I'll apply another layer of this paint. Okay, so also keep in mind that the Gallery brand stained glass paint does take a few hours to fully cure, but if you're short on time, like I am, since I'm making this video, I want to show you all how I upcycled my jars. So in this case, I am using my heating tool to help with the drying process. Okay, so for my third jar, I mixed the red acrylic paint with the white stained glass paint to create a custom red stained glass finish. So what I'm doing here is I'm just applying a thin layer of the paint to my glass jar, and then I'll just repeat the steps that I took with the previous jars. Okay, so once the jars are fully dry, it's time to decorate them. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking my twine and I am going to tie it off around the jar. And then after tying it off, I will then wrap a few of the strands of the twine around the jar. And after doing that, I will then tie off the twine, and I'll leave two longer strands on the front side of the jar. This way we can add the stars. Okay, so since I had some extra star cupcake toppers, I decided to use that in my project. So what I'm doing here is I'll just take a few of those out, and for the larger jars I decided to add 2 on each jar. And for this, if you are using the cupcake toppers, you will want to break off the wooden stick. So those break off pretty easily. If you find that you are left with a tiny bit of the wooden stick, you can use wire cutters to get the rest of it off. Okay, so to add the stars to your jar, you'll use some hot glue. Of course, you want to protect your fingers when adding the stars and working with the hot glue. So you'll just add some hot glue to the star and apply it to the twine. And it should just hang down, and then you'll just do that with the second star. Okay, so for this blue jar, you're going to do the exact same steps that you took for the red jar. You're just going to repeat that. You're going to add your twine, and then after adding your twine, you will then add your stars. Okay, so for my smaller jar, I decided I wanted to add a gem strand around the top section of the jar. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using my scissors to cut the strand. And then after doing that, I will then remove the backing from the strand. And then I will wrap it around the top section of the jar. To finish off the design, I decided to add some white flower embellishments to my smaller glass jar. Once you have added the flower embellishments using hot glue, your jars are complete. Thank you all so much for coming along and creating these jars with me. These are perfect for being displayed on a dining table, a mantle, or you can even display this in your patio space. That looks really nice as well. All you have to do is just add some tea lights or LED candles, and it is just perfect. Thank you all so much for coming along and creating with me. I'll see you soon.